This is something that has me so irate and enraged at this point because Jack Jones goes into court, brings an attorney with him, and the attorney, and this is her job as an attorney, is to protect her client and do whatever she can to make sure that her client is seen in a positive light. But when she starts playing the race card in the first moment and talks about this being a racial issue, I want to scream, I want to grab, I want to holler, and I want to say this is really one of the things that's really wrong with this society, that nobody takes responsibility. Here's a report. I want everybody to see this because this will at least give you an idea of what the attorney said.
New England Patriots cornerback Jack Jones was released on bail today after pleading not guilty during his arraignment on gun charges. Massachusetts State Police say he was arrested on Friday after allegedly trying to go through security at Logan Airport with 2 loaded guns in his carry-on. But Jones's attorney claims that institutional racism is at play.
There's no indication whatsoever that he was in any way disrespectful. There's no information at all that he was in any way did anything to say he wanted to be a gang member or a thug. He's a young black man charged with a crime. Therefore, he must want to be a gang member. He must want to be a thug. This is an accusation. Last I checked in this country, he's presumed innocent unless and until he's proven guilty by a jury beyond a reasonable doubt.
Jones is due back in court again on August 18th for a probable cause hearing. It's still unclear right now if the arrest will impact his future with the team.
It's unclear if it'll impact his future with the team. Guys, I'm sorry. To bring up the race card and to start playing the institutional racism for a guy who has 2 loaded weapons in his handbag to get on a plane, one of them, which was not a legal weapon, the ordinance, which was not legal, and we're still asking that question, why would a guy like this need to take 2 guns to Los Angeles with him is another question that nobody is asking. But to throw this out as racism is insulting. It's despicable at this point from this attorney. I know she's just trying to protect him, but that's complete bullshit, and she's the one that's making this about race.
Well, she wanted to go on Ann Burrell lookalike contest on Food Network. She'd come close, although Ann's lost a lot of weight. She looks good. But the whole thing is, she's like, he's been, he got set up. Now, remember, practice was canceled last Friday so they could go to a paintball event, the Patriots as a team, to bond and everything. He didn't, whether he went to it or not. But how'd the guns get there? I mean, the only defense is if there's some video surveillance, that somebody actually put the guns in the bag. You can't be this stupid. That's the only defense he has. Otherwise, what? She's like, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, that's true. So, but did anybody ask her, Rob, and maybe you saw more of it up there, did anybody say, well, how did the guns get there? Unless somebody physically put them in there other than him, and he didn't know about it, that's the only defense. Otherwise, he's screwed, and he may end up in jail for 30 years.
Yeah, to me, it's pretty simple. This is the Hail Mary. And you're right. I mean, her defense of how the guns got there, where I don't know how he got there. Well, it was in your bag.
Abracadabra.
This is the amazing thing. I don't have guns show up in my sock drawer. It's crazy. And so through all of this, the guy had the guns. The guns were loaded. He's taking them on the plane. It was absolutely stupid. White, black, whatever you are. It's the dumbest thing. It's unbelievably dumb.
Well, that's the point, Rob. I think in all this, I did not hear, and again, I haven't heard everything. Bless you. I did not hear everything, and none of us did, or everything, rather. Somebody might have called him a stupid black man. Somebody might have come out and said, I didn't hear that. The biggest thing I heard, and we talked about on this show, he's stupid, period. He is Jack Jones is now the epitome of athletic stupidity in America today at this point for what he has done. I did not hear anybody pull the race on this. So for her to do this poisons the entire well and takes us back to a time when everything's about race. This isn't about race. This is about him being fucking stupid.
And she kept saying this over and over again, how polite he was to the police. Okay, good for him. I mean, good for him. Like that isn't exactly going to get you off of doing jail time or whatever you have to do. It's good for you, Jack Jones. You were polite to the police, and so that means that we shouldn't say how stupid you are for bringing the guns on the plane. Like I said before, guys, the bottom line is that doesn't matter what race this person was, faceless,
Don't
nameless
care.
person. You did this. It doesn't matter. If you want to have conversations about, like I've seen this a lot today about, the sub tragic thing with the sub, the Titanic sub, that were screaming and yelling about these five billionaires or whatever it is compared to all these other. Fine. Like, you want to have that conversation? Fine. But this one isn't. It's number one, it's not worth our time to listen to this woman yell this stuff. And number two, it's insulting. It's insulting because, we understand that's your job, that's your Hail Mary. But Ed, to your point, what this does is it devalues when this stuff actually does happen. That's
This
another
stokes the
problem.
fire of racism more than anything else. This doesn't help to solve anything at this point.
I think the big question is, abracadabra, I dream of genie, whatever. How'd the guns get there? I mean, all of a sudden, you got to be an idiot. And yes, there are legal ways you can carry a gun on a plane. You have to have the permit. But he had none of it. Absolutely none of it. I want to see the video surveillance of when the TSA people pulled him. He's going through, his bag's going through, and you telling me he had the nerve to act surprised? Like, how'd that get there? That's not mine.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing that these guns were loaded, and I know I'm being simplistic about this, but these guns were loaded, and he tried to put them on the plane.
But this is the one thing that we talked about the other day here, Rob, that people are not talking about. The fact that he took loaded weapons onto an airplane, a pressurized aircraft going at over 30,000 feet, and a loaded weapon in his bag. Somebody jostles the bag, the safety's not on, the bullet goes off, the gun goes off, the bullet pierces the skin of the aircraft, and the next thing you know, we got a couple of hundred people plunging into the earth somewhere, thanks to an idiot who decided for some reason, I'm going to LA and I'm taking my guns.
Well, and so I've heard this brought up too, and I'm anxious to get your guys' thoughts on it, is that this would suggest that he's done this before. If you're like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this. I can get a case of loaded guns through this isn't. I mean, I just comes back to it. How does anyone think this is okay?
It's not.
It's crazy.
It's not.
But he was nice to the police. That's important.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, maybe somehow he did it before in a chartered flight. Maybe somehow he got away with it once or twice, or who knows? God only knows. I don't know. But this wasn't a chartered flight, right? And this is going back to California, Los Angeles. He went to Arizona State. So I don't know if he was supposed to meet somebody in Los Angeles, whatever it was. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you. He's probably gotten away with it before. But I would say that chartered flights, but even you still have to go through security on.
Well, that's frightening. Hey, Pete, that's scary as hell. Because if the TSA is involved and if he's had weapons on a plane before and he thought that this was okay, shit, how many people screwed up before? How many people missed this? How could you miss this if you're taking a bag that's X-ray? You can't miss it.
If you're flying a commercial flight, it's a special kind of stupid to try to think you're going to get loaded guns through security. It really is.
I think it's a privilege when I get to now leave my shoes on in TSA and think about this guy.
So, one last time.
Rob, what about when we take equipment through? Like when just recently, Kansas City and Houston, where I went covering NCAA basketball. And, I didn't want to take a whole separate thing. So I had, our Comrex, the microphone, the stand. I had a whole bunch of shit in my thing. And I'm thinking oh, man, I hope I have to put all this out. All I need is my laptop.
Guys, I still shit my pants when I'm getting onto an aircraft, and I wonder if I've got 5 ounces of hair shampoo.
Right, exactly. And every
Holy
time
God! And when they stop you and they go, "I'm sorry, sir, is this your bag?" Yeah. I'm sorry, but you have, and they pull it out and they go, "You have far too much shampoo in here. It's over the 5 ounces." Holy shit! I'm not going to jail today. Take the shampoo.
You know how many times I've tried to put a 5-hour energy in my bag? I'm like, oh my goodness, am I going to be able to have my caffeine? But the mic, Pete, you bring up the microphone. Like we've had microphones, and obviously, like a microphone, if that goes through, I don't know how they do this stuff, but I'm like, I'm crossing my fingers. Please, microphone, make it through.